1-800-449-8686. Now, Phil Hendry.
Some pretty disturbing reports in the press this week concerning the inhumane treatment of animals. The allegation is that certain food processors that are contracted with Colonel Sanders, Kentucky Fried Chicken, have employees who have been inhumane in the treatment of chickens. These animals that are being processed for food, they have been stepped on, they've been thrown against walls. In other words, it's a pretty gruesome story. I'm speaking with a gentleman by the name of Austin Amarca. Mr. Amarca, you're an employee, you're employed by a company called Brewer Poultry, correct, sir?
Yeah, that is correct, yeah.
All right, which supplies chicken and chicken byproducts to a number of fast food chains. Now, you've seen the reports in the press, correct?
I've seen the reports, yeah, but...
All right, well, they're having to do with workers in these plants kicking chickens, stepping on them. In other words, inhumane treatment.
Well, I want to make it clear, number one, I'm a vegetarian. I do not eat any meat, whether it's beef, chicken, pork, and so on. So where I work, the chicken that we process, I will never eat it. I will not be one of these people that eats chicken that comes out of Brewer Poultry.
Right, but you were one of 4 individuals at your workplace that was disciplined in light of cruelty to these animals. Is that correct?
Well, if you say what I did, I kicked one chicken, I threw one out of a car window off of a bridge.
Did you take this chicken from the plant?
It was a joke, and I certainly didn't mean it to be anything other than a joke, sir.
But you were disciplined. You did this.
Yes, I did, but you need to understand, I'm a vegetarian. There are certain things...
Well, what is the difference? I mean...
Well, there are certain things that you can't hold me responsible for. I did work in a chicken rendering plant, but I do not eat the byproduct. The people that eat the chicken, those are the ones, Mr. Hendry, that I think are the real criminals, and I think this news story is misplaced. In our country, we eat approximately 52 pounds per capita of chicken a year. Now, you can multiply that by the population. That is a lot of animal cruelty, and that's what I want to focus on, the inhumanity of eating these animals, which is unnecessary. You can get useful protein from soy products, bean products, and so on.
But you admit you kicked a chicken. In one instance, you ran one over with your car, and in another instance, you strangled one?
Yes, sir, that is correct. And I have been reprimanded by the Brewer people.
But a reprimand is hardly a punishment for kicking, running over, and strangling an animal.
Well, if the reprimand, sir, goes on my permanent record, it can stop me from getting a raise, and in this economy, that stabs me deeper than anything. And the one who is really suffering here is me. It's not the chicken. It's not the person who's suffering here is me, and not this chicken that I allegedly ran over. And
are you saying you didn't run the animal over?
What I want to do is I want to get back to the real issue.
Well, did you run that animal over?
But the real issue here, sir, is that...
Did you run that animal over with your car?
The real issue here, sir, is the animal abuse.
Well, I guess you don't want to answer my question.
Is the animal abuse... I'm going to answer your question. The issue is the animal abuse that is being practiced by the patrons, the customers of Colonel Sanders, Popeyes, Boston Market, El Pollo Loco, any of these... there is a kookaroo that's about 2 blocks from my home that I drive by every night, and I drive by it very slowly. And I'll tell you, the reason is because I want the people inside to see me, and I want them to see me seeing them. And I'm a witness to their butchering up and their abuse of these animals. Why do you talk to me about an incident or this or that where any one of a few things might have been happening? I might have been drinking. I might have been angry with my kids. I kicked the chicken into the parking lot that day, but the animal had tried to peck at me, and it could be painful, and that is nothing compared to the millions of Americans who encourage the poultry business in this country to send millions of chickens to their deaths, and then they eat the animal's dead flesh with their children, with their spouses, in a ghoulish festival of unparalleled horror and inhumanity to these animals.
Why do you work, sir, in the poultry business when you don't approve of people eating chicken or meat for that matter? Where you yourself have kicked the animals and run them over with your car, why do you work in this business?
I was raised on a farm, and I always enjoyed working in the farm business. And I'm getting into middle age. Jobs are not that plentiful, but I was raised on a farm.
But you kicked the chicken. In one complaint, you threw one from the roof of the rendering plant.
I had been given a new suit when I was a young man. If you want to hear the story.
All right, let me give the phone number first, 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686. Mr. Austin Amarca is an individual who has admitted abusing animals working at a poultry rendering plant. Now, these chicken that Brewer processes are for a variety of fast food chains.
But well, if I, Mr. Henry, am going to be indicted, I want to make it clear to the people I'm a vegetarian, that I do not eat meat, and I do not...
All right. I will give you the props for not eating meat and not eating poultry and not eating fish, but I don't know how you balance that out with the fact that you threw a chicken from the top of the rendering. I mean, you know...
Well, sir, I let the record show you're the one that's laughing.
I understand that. I can't imagine a man doing these things and then trying to justify it. Because
let me tell you how I justify it. If I was drinking, if I was angry at my kids, you can't hold me responsible because I ran a chicken over with my car or anything else. I don't eat chicken. What about those people at the Colonel Sanders and Popeyes that come in and line up for that stuff with their children, with their families? Those are the people I'm talking about.
All right, 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686. Austin Amarca is a worker at the Brewer Poultry Plant, making the point that the real people that are culpable here are people that eat chicken, not people that... But you've read the stories of these. Do you think it's right that people who work in these plants harm these animals, that they step on them, that they throw them against walls, they make their last moments on this earth? As horrible as that?
I'm not here to comment on what other men have allegedly done. I don't know what other men have done.
Well, would you like to comment in the event that this is true? What do you think of it?
Well, sir, would you like to comment in the event that the moon is made out of green cheese? Would you like to comment on that? I don't want...
Well, sir, I'll comment. If the moon's made out of green cheese, I guess that's good because I dig cheese.
Well, I don't think, you can be glib if you want, but I don't think that...
Well, it's not... A hypothetical question like that can't be compared to what I said to you. You know that there's animal cruelty going on in these places, don't you?
No, sir, I do not.
You did?
I did what?
You ran a chicken over, you stepped on it, you threw it off the roof of a building, you threw it out of your car. What did you do? You took the chicken from the plant...
Yes, sir.
Drove down the road with it a few miles and then threw it out of your car?
I threw it off a bridge, yeah. Because we had a couple of drinks, and some of the guys were following. We were going to go meet over at the Logger Lounge, and we were it was just a wild afternoon. But again, I don't eat chicken. I'm not responsible for the murder of billions of chicken. I eat soy products. I do not eat fish. I eat a lot of edamame. I eat a lot of salads. I have, recently, I've taken up yoga.
Do you continue to abuse chickens?
Well, do I abuse chickens? And no more than anybody that eats them.
All right, so I'm getting the drift here, sir, that because you feel...
Anybody that eats chicken is guilty of far more abuse than me.
You were going to start a story about why, when you were a kid or something?
Yes, sir. When I was a young man, and I'm glad you brought me back to that, I had been given a new suit I was going to wear to our first high school formal.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in San Angelo, Texas, originally.
Okay.
And I had this suit laid out that had just been pressed, and my sister, who had this pet chicken that she had adopted from the hens we had, and it had got it into the home. It got up on my suit. It defecated all over the suit. And
so you don't like chickens because of that?
I don't have a problem with chickens. I remember my mother, though, took a wet towel, tried to dab the chicken droppings off of it. But once that time, ever since then, I've got a problem with chickens. Yeah, but not as bad a problem as people who eat them every day.
And you're a vegetarian?
I'm a vegetarian, and I have been all of my life, so I don't eat them, and I'm not responsible for their murder. And I'll give you the smell of a chicken, and the smell of chicken droppings sometimes gives me a migraine headache, and sometimes I forget things or I black out. But I do not, and I am not guilty of any more abuse of a chicken, in fact, less abuse than the people that eat them.
All right. You running over a chicken with your car is less abusive than people who go to Colonel Sanders and get a bucket on a Friday night.
Absolutely, without question. Those people are in a ghoulish and horrific manner eating the dead flesh of an animal that didn't have to die and did shouldn't have to find its way into the Brewer poultry plant, where, yes, a few of us get out of hand and throw them against walls and things like that.
And man, never mind what Brewer Poultry is thinking about you being on my show right now.
I don't care what they think. I had told the people in the newspaper that I talked to today, I don't care what they think.
Even if you lose your job?
Even if I lose my job, yes, sir.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Bizarre story of, and if you saw the paper this week, there are allegations that chickens that are being rendered as food by companies that service Kentucky Fried Chicken, among others. There are allegations that those animals are being mistreated, that there is cruelty, that there is abuse of these animals. Mr. Austin Amarca works for Brewer Poultry. They, I think, produce animal byproduct, etc., for a variety of chicken chains. He has admitted to having run one over, thrown one against a wall, thrown one off the roof of a building, kicked one, thrown one out of his car, off a bridge, and he says that his abuse is nowhere near as bad as the abuse of people that eat chicken. He's a vegetarian. 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendry Show.
Phil Hendry Show. 1-800-449-8686. Living on the edge. Always teetering. Never quite falling off. 1-800-449-8686. The Phil Hendry Show is back.
Do you remember, Mr. Amarca, I'm talking with Austin Amarca, who works for Brewer Poultry. Now, this is one of the companies that's being investigated for abuse of animals. These are chickens that I understand, sir, are being used eventually in fast food chains. But to have these animals at your beck and to be abusing these animals before they're actually rendered as food, you don't find this as bad. You don't find it worse than people eating chicken.
No, as I said, we eat 52 pounds per capita in this country. You're trying to tell me that some kid sitting with his chicken sandwich, and I'm going to take the heat. You got a kid out there in America today. You got kids all over this country going in and getting their chicken McNuggets, or they're getting their bucket of chicken or their Popeyes fried chicken, and they sit down and they tear into this poor animal's dead flesh, but I'm the guy that's going to get the abuse because I've got an issue, and because I have had blackouts, I don't deny that.
So what are you doing, man? Are you blacking out and you're throwing chickens out of cars? I mean, you know, to me...
Again, let the record show you find this amusing. I do not, sir.
Well, I find it strange that you're trying to justify your actions because there's people eating chicken. That's all I'm saying. Are you at work now?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Here is Anne Marie. Anne Marie, go ahead. You're on the Phil Hendry Show with Austin Amarca.
Thank you, Henry. I want to talk to, I won't even call you a gentleman, because what you're doing to those chickens there's no excuse for that. That is outright cruelty.
Ma'am, do you eat chicken?
No right to do that.
Do you eat chicken, ma'am?
Animal.
Do you eat chicken, ma'am?
Sometimes.
All right, that's brutal, horrible cannibalism.
No, sir. You know what you're doing.
You're tearing into the flesh of those.
Well, I have been a vegetarian also,
well, but
I'm also an animal lover, and I'm an animal activist.
You couldn't be if you eat chicken. You couldn't be.
Only if I know that the company that's providing that chicken handles its chickens humanely.
Can you tell me the company that you deal with, ma'am? I'd like to know the name of them.
I don't remember offhand, but I do look
into it. Is it Sanderson Poultry?
Because you cannot stop people from eating chicken, but you can work on the laws that protect those chickens.
Protect them, ma'am? They're going to be killed. How do they protect them? I mean, what do you mean protect them? They're going to be killed so that some little tiny kid can have his chicken sandwich and everybody dumps on me.
There is a humane way of
murdering a chicken.
But for you to kick and stomp on a chicken and throw it over a bridge, that is sadistic. And you cannot blame chicken eaters for your behavior.
I understand that, but I blacked out at that time. And I'm not clear.
Well, how do you know the chicken was thrown out of your car?
I was told that by the patrol car following me.
But you're the one that committed the act, sir.
That is
You're
true.
the one that kicked and nonsense, throw that chicken out.
But I would submit to you.
You have to answer for your own behavior.
Did you pick a chicken up by one leg and throw it down a football field?
Yes, sir, I did.
Why?
We had been drinking and we were playing some stupid game. I forget.
Well, that's stupid. Don't you have any power of reasoning?
I do.
Does the liquor control you, or do you control your liquor?
No, I've had, since the rocket sled accident, a number of blackouts. I used to test rocket sleds for the United States Air Force. As a result of the accident in New Mexico, Alamogordo, New Mexico, 1979, I was no longer fit for service. I was discharged, and I'm working now at Brewer Poultry. Now, I was told about these acts, but I still say, you sitting there at home, delicately picking through the bones of a chicken, that makes me want to vomit. Is that what you do, ma'am? Do you go get one of those barbecue chickens and then pull its legs off?
No, I don't.
Oh, God. It makes me want to puke.
You know, what you're doing is a cop-out for your own behavior.
Listen, Mr.
And you are sadistic.
Mr. Amarca, we have a tape recording of you that I know you were aware was made.
Yes, sir, I do.
This is a tape recording of you, and it was one of the acts of abuse that was alleged. Mark, if you've got that, let's hear this.
All right, and the ball is down, the kick is up. It's good.
All right, was that you kicking a chicken?
Yes, sir, it was.
Were you kicking it like a football?
I have to imagine I was, yes, sir.
Because I heard you say the ball is down, the kick is up, and it's good.
Yeah. But, Anna Marie, how come everybody's dumping on me and you're sitting there tearing into a poor chicken's flesh with your new capped teeth or whatever you're doing? See, that's the thing that pisses me off.
All right. Thank you, Anne Marie, for your call. 1-800-449-8686. Mr. Austin Amarca has joined us to talk about the problems that are happening at the chicken rendering plants.
What are you laughing at?
The ball is down, the kick is up, it's good. Here is Mary. Go ahead, Mary.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You're on the air, ma'am. Go ahead.
Hi.
Yes, hi. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Fine.
It was very wrong the way that you killed a chicken.
What do you mean I didn't kill a chicken? I threw it out of a car.
Well, you killed it.
I guess. Do you eat chicken? Same question.
Yes, I do.
Okay, same question. How can you justify what you do? Yeah, you can't.
I eat chicken. There's nothing wrong with eating chicken.
Yes, there is. You murdered the chicken so you can eat it.
There's a humane way of killing them.
Well, which way is that, ma'am? You ought to see the way they kill chicken today, these days.
I think they cut their heads off.
That's what you think. What actually happens is the chickens are all herded out in the middle of just a penned-in area, and a guy walks through there with a handgun.
Oh, no, they don't.
Yes, they do, ma'am.
What?
No, they don't.
Absolutely. Yes, they do. That's how they kill them now.
I don't think so.
Well, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just some old lady.
I don't think
Wait
you
a
know
second.
what you're talking about either.
Yeah, my ass. I work at a chicken rendering plant.
Look at... Are you saying...
They wander out. They send the chickens out, get them out there, and a guy just with a pistol starts picking them off.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
You had no right doing what you were doing.
Well, you don't have any right eating chicken.
That's very inhumane.
Look, here comes one right now. God, I hate him.
1-800-449-8686. Austin Amarca on chickens.
One 1-800-449-8686. The Phil Hendry Show is back.
Austin Amarca is with us. Mr. Amarca, first of all, I want to tell you how much I admire you for coming on our program and admitting that you have been responsible for this kind of abuse that we're talking about. These rendering plants that the allegations are the workers there have abused animals that are going to be rendered for food. I understand that. But there's no reason to take a chicken and do what some of these people are alleged to have done, throw them against walls. In your case, you ran one over with your car, threw one off the roof of a house, threw one down the length of a football field, whatever you guys were doing. And the evidence against you, sir, is pretty compelling. We've got recordings. We're going to play another one of what was going on in that plant that day. Were you aware that you were being recorded?
No, I was not at that time. My understanding is law enforcement had gained access.
Well, we have a recording. You heard the one we heard of you kicking the chicken. We've got another one that I think people are going to be shocked to hear, of you blowing up one of the hen houses.
I don't have any real recollection of that, sir.
Well, you know what? The lady might be right.
But, Mr. Henry, let me say this. Again, you want to indict me while some old lady, like a couple of the ones that called tonight, sit and pick through the bones of a barbecued chicken they just picked up at Vaughn's or Kroger's or what have you, picking through the bones like you can imagine they're picking through the bones of their dead husbands, looking for a piece of gold. I find that far more ghoulish and horrific and gothic than anything I've done.
All right, 1-800. You're a vegetarian, right?
Yes, sir, I am. I do not eat those animals.
All right. There's another gentleman on the line here. His name is Sylvan, sir?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Are you a vegetarian, sir?
Yes, I am a vegetarian.
Go ahead.
I cannot believe he is sitting here trying to justify his treatment of those animals just because he's a vegetarian. That makes no sense.
Wait a minute. I'm not eating those animals.
It doesn't matter if you're eating them or not. I don't eat them either. But you still do not treat any living animal like that. There's no excuse. You cannot justify it.
People that eat chicken are worse than me, is what I'm saying.
And what does that make you? You don't eat them, but you still kill them just the same.
Well, at least I'm not as bad as they are.
You are bad. You're killing them. You are killing them. There is no I'm worse than they are.
Wait a second.
You are killing them.
No, that's easy for you to say, because why don't you walk up to the average person that eats chicken? Why don't you go to a Popeyes or one of these Kentucky Fried Chicken and say to them, look at how you're butchering them up?
I see it every day.
Do you walk in?
I see them eating them every day, but you know what? They're not throwing them off a building.
Oh, wait a second. Now you're saying eating them ain't as bad as throwing them off of a building.
I'm not saying eating them is not. What I'm saying is you are just as bad as they are. You cannot say that you're any better.
I reject that, sir. I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with it because you don't want to accept responsibility for your actions.
Well, that's
you treated those chickens unethically. And as a vegetarian, you should have love for all animals anyway. So there's no way, as a true vegetarian, you should have been throwing those animals off of a roof or doing whatever you were doing to them.
I am a vegetarian. And
do you have a problem with animals, sir?
I told you I've got a problem.
Look, man, I have a degree in animal science. I don't have a problem with animals. I love animals.
I don't either. But what I'm saying, I do have a problem with chickens. I will tell you that.
Well, okay, so how can you sit here and say that you're a vegetarian, you love animals, but you hate chickens, so you throw them off a roof?
Well, simply because of this. I resent being indicted as the bad guy here when you let some old lady go in and get her box of McNuggets, go home, dig into them like the vampire that she is, and you don't say nothing to her.
But, dude, you are the bad guy because guess what? First of all, you're working in the rendering plant. You're working there, so you're contributing to that lady eating those chickens. Second of all, you're killing them.
I grew up on a farm.
Okay, but that's no excuse. You can still get another job if you wanted to.
Hey,
you don't have to work in a rendering plant just because you worked on a
sir,
farm.
I'm a middle-aged man, and the job market ain't exactly what we would call, spilling over all kinds of jobs. Now,
no, there's jobs you just have to find.
Well, let me say this, if I could jump in, gentlemen. If you got the job, you have the job. You're having blackouts. You're kicking chickens off of rooftops. I mean, dude, you need another job, man. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I do.
You don't think?
Okay, so if you didn't have this job, what would you be kicking off of rooftops then?
No, I'm just saying, why should I quit my job when you give a pass to some little punky kid eating his chicken leg for lunch?
Dude, okay, are you against those people eating chicken?
Yes, sir.
You're contributing to it by working in the rendering plant.
Exactly. You're working in a rendering plant, so...
I got to have a job.
Yeah, but it's
weird. It doesn't matter. If you feel strongly that against the unethical treatment of animals, you don't take that job.
Here we
go. I feel strongly. I won't... You're taking blood money. That's blood money.
This is great of you. I love people that like to moralize about what another guy ought to do. What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm actually a microbiologist.
Okay, well, are you hurting animals and stuff?
Not at all.
Actually,
we're helping animals.
You might be hurting microbes.
Well, okay, laugh if you want, you guys, but, I'm hanging here by my you-know-whats, and a little kid gets a pass while he digs into a big...
All right, look at Sylvan. Thank you very much for your call. 1-800-449-8686. Martha, go ahead. You're on the Phil Hendry Show with Austin and Marca.
Okay, I just want to say that you're a psycho, and I think you need a psychiatric treatment, and because you're not supposed to do that to the animals.
Why do you think I'm a psycho? Why am I psycho?
Yeah, maybe your parents, they treat you that way, the way that you treated the chickens, when you were little or whatever. Maybe that's why you're treating the animals that way, because that's the way that, I see it in you.
Well, a chicken defecated on my suit.
Ah.
Okay. So now you're kicking them like footballs?
Well, think to yourself instead of doing to the chickens.
What?
And maybe you can feel the same way.
Nuts.
Maybe you can feel all the way bouncing yourself all over instead of bouncing to the chickens.
Do you eat chickens in Indonesia?
And I love the chickens. I love any kind of chickens.
Yeah, I'll bet you do. I bet you wring their necks the same way I would, too.
Well, let me tell you something. You should wring your neck the same way that you're doing to the chickens.
You know what? Every night,
you're supposed to be in the electric chair.
I know that you.
You're supposed to be alone.
Every night.
People
You're
like you
getting the
supposed to
polio
be
going
in
for
the
your
electric
man.
chair because that's what you deserve.
Yeah, that's right. Let's kill people for killing chickens. Why did you go back to whatever the hell it is, India?
I'm not India anyway.
Hey, do you use chicken bones when you do voodoo?
Let me tell you something.
I bet you use chicken bones when you do that voodoo.
To you, and maybe you don't have to do the people like me like a mommy.
So you're using the chicken bones when you're laying
that
voodoo on somebody?
Chickens. I don't use the chicken.
Hey.
Believe it or not, we have a farm.
Let me ask you something.
Chickens in the right way.
Is it hard to eat a chicken leg with a basket on your head?
I love it. It's sweet and
yeah,
yummy.
You sure you're talking about chicken?
The same thing.
All right, now wait a minute. I got this recording, Mr. Amarca, of you.
I don't care whatever you record. You're supposed to be an electric chicken. I hold it, put you in electric chicken over whatever you are. In which state you are right now.
Hey, I'll see you down at Bayfront Park. You'll be the one with the big rear end, right?
All right, look, fine. I want you to hear this.
You do?
I hung up on her.
That's the hottest thing I had going for 2 weeks. You hung up on her? God!
You ain't going to be happy. Did you blow up a hen house?
No, my attorney told me not to.
You blew a hen house up, didn't you? Using your cell phone to activate an explosive device. Now, this is pretty sick, and I want my listeners to listen to this.
Mr. Henry, I'm not going to comment. My attorney said I don't have to answer.
You don't have to answer anything. This is a recording that the FBI gave us of you activating an explosive device that you placed in a hen house with your cell phone. Go ahead and roll it.
All right, watch this.
Did you hear that?
I heard it, but I don't believe it.
Wait a minute, man. I'm going to play it again for you, because this is pretty twisted.
Mr. Henry, again, on advice of my attorney.
Yeah, on the advice of your attorney. Listen to this. Excuse me, man.
Well, you going to play it?
Yeah, I'm going to play it. So you... Did you do that?
Yes, sir, I did, but that's not the whole tape.
It's not the whole tape.
No, sir, it is not. And if you are going to play the FBI recording, you have to play it all the way through, or else you are guilty of slander.
Is there more, Mark?
All right.
Then let's play the entire tape.
All right, thank you very much. Gee.
Here is the entire tape as recorded by the FBI. Oh, I forgot that part.
Yeah, you forgot that part. I blew taps for those chickens. And then, along came a chicken with a hand grenade.
And blew up Boston? Okay. 1-800-stupidest bit we've done yet. I'm sure the cat plays taps after he blows up a hen house using his cell phone to activate the explosive device. Now, that's what I call animal cruelty. That's what I call hysterically funny animal cruelty. All right, 1-800-449-8686. You got to check out that story about the chickens. It's true, man. There's some pretty sick bastards out there. You know, any guy that abuses an animal is going to wind up abusing human beings eventually. So I say if you find someone that does